something so beautiful and pure and perfect in your entire life? Have you? Welcome. Welcome to the show, everybody. The 0-6 Jets are making us feel alive. Yeah. All right. 0-6. It's perfect. Look, man, we're the only perfect team in the entire NFL, and there's value in that. All right, guys, welcome to episode 186 of Green Bean's Jets Pod. We are delighted that you're here, and by we, I mean all the crazy people that live inside here. It's like 12 monkeys banging on those cymbals. Remember that toy? Remember that thing? That's what it's like in here. Except imagine that 12 of those toys, monkeys with the cymbals, but if every monkey had an opinion and all talked at the same time. That's what's going on in here. Yeah. All right. So guys, welcome aboard. If you're new here, welcome. It's nice to have you. I do ask a few small favors if you are new here. Please squeeze the milk thumbs. You know what that is? That's this, the like button. Hit the old like button if you'd be so kind. It helps the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'm like 35 away from 14,000. We're trying to get past that. We're trying to make 14,000 like a whatever, just a road sign, a you are entering Utah sign kind of a thing. On the way to 15, that's our goal for this season. 15,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I'd greatly appreciate it if you do that. Hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to join the channel, you can do that too. That helps. You can do that. And if you'd like to hang out with us in our private meeting rooms and the Discord and everything like that, get some members-only content. I'm actually dropping a new members-only content thing later today, which will be yesterday for you if you're hearing this, or maybe even 2 days ago, depending on when you listen or watch. So you could do all that by joining the Beanbaggers. The link is in the description of this video. And you can do that sort of stuff. It's greatly appreciated. It helps the channel, man. If you appreciate, what we're doing over here, all the monkeys and myself. If you're into it, you can help support, and it's greatly appreciated, guys. If you're listening on the audio side, this podcast I do release on the audio side on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Podbean, all those things. If you're out there, you can give me a 5-star review. That'd be great too. It helps, man. It helps. So thank you guys for the support. I love it. And look, what we're doing here, we're talking about probably the worst thing to talk about, outside of like real life stuff, blood and loss and death and things like that. Outside of that, I honestly don't know if there's a more grim subject. Sports is one of those things where you want to, you watch sports to have what? Fun. You watch your team, your colors, and you watch these big, strong men put on this helmet that you chose to root for. You're like, I like the color green. All right. I like the word Jets. Yeah. Okay. And so these guys, they go into a locker room together, all these big men, strong, some fast, some strong, some big and slow, and some, short and quick and all that kind of stuff. And they collect all these guys and they put on the same uniform, green, white, black, whatever it is for that day, but that's our colors. And we as fans, we choose to root for it, to have fun. And the simple truth is this: there is no fun to be had here. This is an exercise in how much pain and disappointment can you possibly take. We're the longest active streak in North American professional sports without getting into the postseason, which is the playoffs and getting a chance at winning a championship. We haven't been there even in the dance. We haven't gotten to the postseason in 15 years. And by the way, we're not getting there this year. The Jets would have to do a miraculous turnaround, which is just not happening, by the way. I'm not sure if you've been paying attention, but it's not happening. And on top of that, so we haven't done that in 15 years. The longest active streak in all of North American professional sports. Baseball, hockey, whatever, We haven't been to get a championship since 1969, which the number one selling artist of the day was the likes of Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, Janis Joplin, The Who, those Sha-Na Na was playing Woodstock, like that kind of stuff. That's the last time we won a championship. 1969, 79, 89, 99, 2009, 2019. That's 56 years. And I am not 56 years old, so therefore I've never won anything. So here we go. That team with all that stuff, amazingly, incredibly, is so good, so dedicated to what their goal really is. They're so dedicated that they have still found layers below. We have been laying at what we thought was rock bottom for a decade or more. And for some way, this franchise, this organization finds a way, finds another crack in the granite stone floor. A little tiny, you can't get a razor blade in between it. But the Jets, they find a way and they bore it out, and we all slip down into a new layer of pain and it's unbelievable what we've done. So this week, guys, we watched the New York Jets return to London to play the Denver Broncos. Now, the Denver Broncos last season, we had Aaron Rodgers. We were 8-point favorites in our house. We played him in MetLife last year, and that just so happened to be the game that the Talkin' Jets crew, Ryan, Matt O'Leary, myself, among others, right? The Jeremys, Jet Chaos, the Dom C's of the world, and all you guys, we chose that to be our meetup game. And we went there, and it rained on us from 8:30 in the morning, all through our tailgate Joe. We did that. We went all through. It rained on us the entire tailgate, the entire game, the entire day. And the Jets didn't even score a touchdown and had an opportunity to win at the end, miraculously. We have a kicker named Greg the Leg. Why? Because he's known for having this super strong leg, can kick 60-yard field goals like nobody's business. Gave us, the Jets, the only 60-yarder in our history. He's got 54-yard or whatever it was, something well within his range. No problem. We got Greg the Leg. We're going to win it. And he misses it. And the Jets and Broncos have been on significantly different career trajectories since that day. But here we are. We go back to London. Last year in London, we were a 2-2 team. We lost in London, so we were a 2-3 team. That was so bad to our owner, Woody Johnson, that he fired the head coach right after the game, unceremoniously, without warning. Just Robert Saleh's. He said, we have the best roster in our history, and I don't want to blow it. And what he does was he bumps up his defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbricht into the head coaching position. He's never done that before, but there's no reason to not have him be the head coach and the defensive coordinator at the same time. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I mean, this is what we do anyway. We got a quarterback coach who's never done that before. We had a head coach before this group who didn't need an offensive coordinator. He didn't need a quarterback coach. This is the shit. It's nonstop. It never ends. But last year when we went to London, we lost our head coach on the way home. And this year we go back and we play, interestingly enough, one of the better games we've played. The defense finally decided to show up, which they've been a big problem all year, the New York Jets defense. Fair? Fair enough? They've been a huge problem. Our offense is putting up 25 points, 32 points, and the defense just can't help. And today, this week against the Broncos, the defense decides to show up, probably bolstered by the return of Jermaine Johnson, who's a stud and is clearly an impact player for the New York Jets, and the addition of Brownlee, the new nickelback that we got from in our trade with the Titans. Second, look, we were the first 0-5 team to not have a takeaway in NFL history. See, another layer. And we can't get a turnover. All the guys, 11 defensive guys and the guys in and out, probably 20 defensive guys had an opportunity to try to create a turnover. Brownlee's here for 2 plays and forces a fumble. And it just shows one of the problems is our players are dog shit and they don't know what to do. And they just, dude, the stink is all over this. One guy he's coming from a loser organization and he's like, dude, I'll get you a turnover. Let's work on this. Boop, bop, beep. And Cisco our safety tried not to land on it. We had 3 Jets around and 1 Bronco and we almost didn't get it. It's crazy. But we did, so let's not belabor that, Let's not make that into a negative. But man, so we play one of the better games, and it just so happens to coincide with arguably the worst performance by a quarterback in Jets history. We had a net total in our passing game. Aaron Glenn called it non-existent in his press conference. But it might even be worse than that. It wasn't just non-existent, because it did exist. So it's not non-existent means it just wasn't there. It didn't exist. But it was worse than that, because it did exist and it had a net of negative 10 yards. So the passing game, in its 60 minutes of presence on the field, did in fact exist. And collectively, what it added to the game was negative 10 yards. And we didn't have a first down until almost the end of the first half. So it's crazy. It's a crazy thing, guys. So look, we do things. We hang out. We talk. We look at stuff. And we decide and we make our decisions, like whether or not to utilize this amazing deal that I'm offering you from the Great Sleeper app, right? Come on, what a segue. You think you know football? Well, and try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app, everybody. The ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. And wouldn't that be a nice change of pace? With more stats than any other daily fantasy app, choose 2 of your favorite players, pick more or less than the predicted output, right? Choose one or the other. They're going to do better. They're going to do worse. And you can get up to 100 times your money. Use the promo code GreenBean and they're going to match up to $100 on your first deposit. It's kind of amazing. Now, check this out. What if you're a little tentative? I don't know. Well, you can use the link, sign up. They'll give you a free $20 to get started without even making a deposit. That's what we're talking about. Guys, I made it as simple as possible for you. The link's right in the description. Comes with, if you use the link, it has Green Bean included, but be careful. Make sure you got Green Bean promo code in your pocket and use that to get the deal. Thank you to Sleeper for hanging out with us for this video for Green Bean's Jets Pod. Guys, have you not had it? Who's going to lead us? Who's going to say something? Who's going to do anything? I'm going to tell you this. In the post-game press conference, first off, it was really nice. The Jets, after multiple years of asking them to fix the damn press conference audio, multiple years of press conference audio issues, not being able to hear the guy speaking all that well, but definitely not being able to handle or to hear the people asking the questions. We'll call them the press. They ask questions. Oh, you can't hear anything. So all you hear, like when you watch a Jets press conference, what you do, you see the person being interviewed nodding, and you hear like, and then they go, right. Well, that's why I don't do that way, because when that happens, you got to do this. And you're like, well, what is that an answer for? I don't understand. What was the question? I don't know what's happening. You get 50% of the conversation. It's hard. Today, this week, when I listened to it, it actually sounded like a real we had the audio fixed. The Jets finally fixed the audio. Isn't it great? We're progressing. Who says that Aaron Glenn and his regime aren't making big, bold changes around here? So about 6 minutes into this press conference with Aaron Glenn, right? So we said, I got to say that the last few weeks I've been happy with some of the questions that the press has been asking. Now this week, I believe from the voice, it sounds like it might have been a Canizero. I could be wrong. Maybe it was Canizero. Maybe it was Kaz. I don't know. But it sounded like one of those guys. So he's basically asking him, what's the story with this Justin Fields? He's playing the worst. This is an organization of bad quarterback play. We get made fun of constantly for years, for decades. Every time we play Josh Allen, or they show all the quarterbacks the Jets have had since the Bills had Josh Allen. They do it constantly. We're an organization that doesn't know how to develop a quarterback, pick a quarterback, bring in the right veteran, support them. We don't know how to do any of this shit. And somehow, this game collected within this 60-minute game was some of the, if not the worst quarterback play in the history of this regime of bad quarterback play. Now, Justin Fields didn't throw any interceptions. So, like we've seen games with multiple pick sixes, right? The Mud Bowl, Richard Todd, going into the opportunity to get into the playoffs in 2015 with Ryan Fitzpatrick throws 5 picks. So we've seen worse. But this was like the word non-existent. Again, they existed because it was a net negative, but it's like a game where nothing happened. Aaron Glenn was asked, what's the story with this guy? Is he your starting quarterback? And Aaron Glenn got snippy and he said, come on, that's a stupid question. Why are you asking a question like that? And they weren't having it. And it's an interesting little segment. Let's take a listen, shall we?
His numbers are not good for this game. Is he going to be your quarterback next week, or would you consider?
Come on, man. What kind of question is that?
Well, he did not have a good game. I mean, I think it's a fair question.
There's a number of guys that, sometimes this league is like this, and there are guys that have bad games. That doesn't mean you just bench them. Come on, you know better than that.
The struggles have been. You guys are 0-6 though. Like this isn't, a team that's 2-3 or 3-3, and the quarterback has a bad game. And Justin's played a role in some of these offensive struggles.
No doubt. Everybody's played a role in that. So it's not just Justin. Because I understand where you guys are trying to take this, but listen, there's a number of other guys that got to pick their game up too. So I don't want to sit there and pin this all on Justin.
The broadcast, the television broadcast was showing a lot of plays where Justin had not been sacked yet. Ball's in his hand and guys are open from there.
Well, I got to see it on tape. Yeah.
If he's not pulling the trigger, don't you kind of owe it to the rest of the guys on offense to give a guy another chance to be there potentially to be the one to throw the ball and to?
Well, I don't see that. Sometimes we got to get him to operate a certain way. I mean, that happens to a lot of guys. You just can't sit there and say, "Oh man, we're going to bench him because this." I thought some other games he's played well, so I'm not looking at this as just, man, he played a bad game, I'm going to bench him. I don't see it that way.
So Aaron Glenn really he went to bat for Justin Fields, which, like, I've said this a million times when talking about loyalty with Joe Douglas or Robert Saleh of late. Like, you gotta commend loyalty, right? Like, there's less and less of it these days. Loyalty, staying the course, all those things, very positive traits, until it starts to become what's called stubbornness, right? So you can appreciate Aaron Glenn sticking up for defend, his guys, right? He's standing out front, which is what you want a leader to do. That's what leaders do. They stand out front and they weather the storm for the people behind them, and they defend. He could be going back to rip Justin Fields a new ass. He could be going to do that, but out front, he's defending his guys, right? You don't throw anybody under the bus, that kind of thing. It's great to a degree. But the question, he says, what kind of question is that? And the guy says, well, I think it's a fair question, man. This is bad. He's got a big part in this. And he says, well, a lot of people have a part in it. He's the quarterback, and he has a very, very big part in it. Like the offensive line, we're looking at the offensive line like they're terrible. No, they're not perfect, and Olu had a particularly bad day. But overall, when you look at just, 9 sacks, this offensive line sucks. Not the case. Not the case. Most of those sacks were after 3.5 seconds in a pocket that was pretty clean. He has the time. And then even when there is pressure, like there's guys right in front, just dump it off to your running back. You have the outlet. It's baked into the play, man. So there's all that. And then Connor Hughes steps in afterwards with a follow-up, and he asks the most important thing of all, which is, this is what we saw it with Zach. It was crazy with Zach. At what point, I know you want to defend the guy. I know there's more to it than just him, of course. But at what point, when he's holding the ball too long, he's taking the sacks, there are guys open right in front of him, he's not seeing them, he's making the wrong choice on RPOs, he's keeping it when he shouldn't, he's handing it off when he shouldn't, he's all over the place. And this isn't a one-game anomaly. This is what it's been all year. You're 0-6. You're the worst team in the NFL. Your quarterback just threw for fucking -10. Your offense has a -10 yards passing. At what point do you start thinking about the other guys on the team? And he asked it in such a way. Isn't it a lack of respect for them? And you saw some of the derivatives of that. Now, I think Garrett Wilson, when he was arguing with Aaron Glenn walking off for the first half, like people say, he was yelling at Aaron. I don't see him yelling at. You rarely yell at a guy with your hand on his shoulder, like, draped across his back. You're not yelling at him. That's not a posture. Those things, they conflict. You don't put your arm around somebody and go, hey, motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. That's not what. It's more like passionately expressing your point, which just might disagree with his stance. That's fine. But they're not yelling at each other, evidenced by the posture. Right? There's a lot of, cues, nonverbal cues. You can pick up on what's going on by the nonverbals, man. And we're so ridiculous. You see somebody's mouth, oh, he must be doing this. Well, look at everything else around it. You know what I mean? Let's see what we think. I don't know what was said. I wasn't there. I can't say definitively one way or the other. But again, that's what it looks like to my eyes. But he's complaining about the play calling, which is the other part of this whole thing. It's like, when are we going to utilize Justin Fields' strengths? It looked like week 1 we were doing that, and we did it a little bit in the Tampa game. Or not Tampa, not Buffalo, the third game. What was it? I don't know. Whatever. I saw another game where it looked like they might be kind of trying to utilize his strengths. Justin Fields needs to move. He's not a pocket quarterback. 5-7 step drops all day. It's not the thing to do. It's not going to work with him. right? And what is the defense doing? They're just taking Brees out of it. That's what they're doing. They got everybody up front. They got 9 in the box, and they're run blitzing and everything, and they're daring Justin Fields to beat you. And what do? We play right into it and just 5-7 step drops, long developing plays, like craziness. So that's a part of it too. But again, when you look at there are guys open. There is time being provided by the offensive line. Justin Fields can't do it. So here's the problem. I'm just going to simplify everything for you. This is my astute observation. You ready? Justin Fields can't do it. Justin Fields does not have the football IQ to process the things needed to be processed in the real-time game situation to be a success. It's that simple. He does not have the ability to connect all the dots in real time to be a success, which is why he's been up to this point. We're trying to beat this out of him for some reason. A one-read quarterback, a one-read and run. That's what he did in college. It's what he did in Chicago. One read, maybe 2 at best, and take off. That's what he does. And we're trying to make him not do that, and he can't do it. He's not smart enough, football IQ-wise, to do it. Another word would be he's football stupid. He can't be. He can't be. Which is, guys, if you want some evidence to this, the Jets knew about this. They knew about this deficiency. Why? How do I know this? Well, it's quite simple. Remember in training camp, they were doing that whole virtual thing with him, the face mask, the virtual fucking screen. And they were making him practice in 1.5 speed time. Why? What was their reasoning for doing this? Well, if you remember, it was so when he takes the headphones off, when he takes the mask off, the game would slow down for him. Why? No, I think could be good anyway. Anybody could use that. But him in particular, it was the first thing that they did. Why? Because they know that that's an established and defined weakness for this man. If that's the problem, it's never going to work. Other teams know that. They're going to make the environment that way for him. They're going to make it as fast-paced and crazy as they can. They're not going to settle back. They're going to make him beat them, and he can't do it. Not to say he won't have a game here or there where he settles in and looks good and all that. Dude, the guy's got physical talents through the roof, right? Physical talents through the roof. Galore. He can't do it. And that's the problem. Now, there are some decisions. That's Justin Fields. We're not going to win with him. It's just that's it, but it's good. We talked about it a million times. I'm not going to beat it up and do the thing here, but we took a flyer on a guy. It was the best decision to make last year. If you weren't going to keep Aaron Rodgers, fine. I get it. You're a rookie. You're not settled in yet. You and your offensive coordinator, Aaron Rodgers, is too big to have in the house. I totally get it. Okay, which is why you don't hire a rookie. But all that aside, I get it. Once they're hired, I get the decision. If you were going to do that, Justin Fields was about the best option that you were going to take because it's a bridge. It's a bridge quarterback with a potential to catch lightning in a bottle. 10% chance, and it didn't work. It's not going to work, and that's that. That's fine. But now let's talk about some of the stuff that we're seeing here with the coaching staff. One scenario, one little series really highlights something that's pretty concerning that I'd like to talk about. And we'll do that in the Intelligent Gripe. Well, all right, here we are on the other side of that thing, and now we're in the Intelligent Gripe. We are now within it. Now let's talk about the most uncelebrated successful fake punt in the history of New York Jets football. Can we talk about that? Because that happened this week. It was 4th down. The Jets were coming to the end of the half. The Jets decided to go for it. No, they decided to punt, and then they chose to fake punt. And it was, by the way, all right, I'm going to do the whole thing here. So, the fake punt, I love it. I love aggressive football. I love when you can time it right and take advantage of a situation and like, flip the energy. That's what it does. It's a momentum shifter. Oh, they stopped you on third. Fuck, they're gonna get the ball back. They're all getting ready. The offense is putting their helmets on, and it's this whole thing. And then you stab them in the gut with a knife they didn't know you had in your boot. They disarmed you, and you go, yeah, and you sneak that little knife in their gut, and it flips the whole thing energetically. And it goes, yeah, now we're psyched. Our offense comes running back. Their defense, holy shit, we thought we were getting off. They were just kicking back, fixing their sneakers and whatever, and they got to put the helmet back on and run. It's a whole thing. When we did it, it was like, eh. But here's the problem with the fake punt in general. Isaiah Davis is the up man on our punts. Okay, he's our third running back, now catapulted into the running back 2 because Braylon Allen is injured. Right, fine, but he's the up man. The reason that they do that, the reason that they have a competent guy as an up man, is number one because he's a running back and he's used to blocking guys running in free. So that's that. So he's got that skill set already. But number two, in the event you want to do a little switcheroonie, the regular team that's on the field for these is competent enough to take care of it. You don't have to pretend, and you don't have to make something obvious. Like, hey, you don't have to telegraph it like we now have to do with onside kick. You got to telegraph it. You got to tell them. You got to say, hey, everybody, we're going to try to come back now. So this play, we would normally have to kick it to you down there. We're going to try to trick you and kick it here because after 10 yards, it's live, and we're going to try to steal the ball back. Now we have to tell them that, which is just so stupid. They got to figure out a solution to that because it's dumb. We tried it at least twice and it hasn't worked, and I don't see it working. I don't see it working at all ever. So whatever. So what do the Jets do? We have a competent up man in Isaiah Davis. That's who our guy is. They bring in Breece Hall to be the up man. You want to talk about telegraphing? Let's put Breece in there. Make sure we get it. Dude, now they know that you're going to do it. Now, it was such a short little distance that we ended up getting it, right? We ended up getting it, so I'm not going to beat that up too much. But still, a lot of the time, that's going to blow up your whole chance, and it's stupid because then now you're giving him the ball in your own territory and all this sort of stuff. You got to do everything you can to catch the enemy off guard, to catch the other team off. You can't give anything you give, right? It's a game of inches and seconds. You can't give anything because it'll be exploited to your detriment and you're going to pay for it. So we got lucky there, and we put Breece on, we go for the fake punt, and we get it. Great. And it just felt like, meh, because our offense was shit and we weren't doing anything. It was just like, it's weird. Like we just went, oh, okay. Like nothing exciting about it, which is the weirdest thing I've seen in a long time. Fake punts are exciting. And this one, nothing. It was dry, drab, mellow. So great. We got the big energy flip. We were on our own 37-yard line. Very dangerous. So it was very good that we made it. We make it. No hoopla, no nothing. Now, whatever, there's a minute and change left in the first half. We're on our own 37-ish yard line. Now, we want to try to get down there to score some points. It's a 10-6 game at this point, I think. So we want to get into field goal range at least and get the field goal you can get, make it a 10-9 thing. You know what I mean? You want to get points for the half. We look so confused that we let so much clock go. That last play of the half, we didn't make a decision to just be conservative and let the time run out. I would disagree with that, but if you chose to do it, fine. Hey, we're a little bit off right now. I don't want to take any chances like we did throwing the pick six against Tampa and all that shit. I just want to keep it cool. But remember, we did throw a pick six. We were trying to get some points before the half. Tyrod Taylor threw a pick six with almost no time left in the first half, and that ended up being the difference in the game. So Aaron Glenn, dude, they look confused. They're talking. There's like 8 seconds left, and they're having conversations. Justin Fields and Aaron Glenn, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's running around. Nobody knows what the fuck is happening. And we don't even try. No Hail Mary. The 35 seconds before that, not trying to get aggressively into field goal range. Nothing. They just look confused, discombobulated, and they end up letting the clock run out of the first half because, whatever. Because we don't know what to do, right? Again, if they made the decision, I would disagree, but I get it. We get the ball in the third quarter. We're just going to let well enough be well enough. It's 10-6. Fine. We don't want to take any chances. All right, great, but that's not what they did. They danced around and they didn't know if they were going to go, if they were going to do. They didn't know, and it was evident all over them. The team didn't know what was going on. That's a terrible look. Terrible. Right? It's indicative of what a lot of people are afraid of, which is that Aaron Glenn is in over his head and he's just lost, right? He's lost in the sauce. It's just, this is too big for him. That's the concern. This would paint the picture that he is, or this supports that logic. But here's what's worse, okay? Here's what my problem is with it. That's a problem. I'm with it. In the presser, they asked him about that. What the fuck was going on there? And he said, I just wanted to make sure that they didn't get the ball back with any time left in the first half. That was the whole thing. So I didn't care. The fake punt, it didn't have any purpose. I just wanted to make sure I didn't give them the ball back. There was 1 minute and 40 seconds left. I couldn't do it. Why? Well, I just mentioned the pick 6 in Tampa. That was right before the half, and we lost the game because of that. Last week against the Dallas Cowboys, what happened with 40 seconds left, whatever it was? They ran a play. They were just running out the clock, Dallas was, before the half, and they ran up the middle, which should have been a 3-yard gain, for 66 yards and a touchdown. All right? So a simple little play. Dallas just, I don't know, we're going to run out the clock. We'll run some plays, see what happens. And what happened was, boom, a 66-yard touchdown to cap the half. Right after they scored before that. Remember? So Aaron Glenn said, all I know is that I didn't want to give them the ball with any time left in the half. Now, what is he saying? He doesn't know he's saying it, but I know he's saying it. And this is a huge problem, especially this early in his tenure. Now, again, I've said it a bunch. I'm okay. I didn't want to hire a rookie head coach. I love Aaron Glenn as a player, as a man, as a coach. I love Aaron Glenn. Okay, he's one of my faves. But I didn't want to hire him. Why? Because I didn't want yet another rookie defensive head coach who's going to bring with him a rookie general manager and a rookie offensive coordinator, and then the one vet is fucking journeyman Steve Wilkes, who obviously sucks the balls. All that kind of stuff. Last 3 jobs were 1 year, head coach 1 year, interim coach 1 year. You know what I mean? Everybody who brings him in is like, he's not good enough, and they get rid of him, and now here he is. So what we did was we chose to go that route anyway. So once you go that route, you got to okay, well, here's the pros and here's the cons. One of the groups in the group of cons is the guy's not going to know what the fuck he's doing. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have to learn. He's going to have to evaluate, and he's going to think this guy's good and then find out he's not. And he's going to make decisions that a year later he wouldn't do again. All that kind of stuff. He's learning on the job, which is aggravating, and it's what we've been doing for 20-something years, but it is what it is. This is different. This is him saying, my fear of what could happen superseded anything else, any of my decisions, any of that stuff. My fear of what could happen trumped any other thoughts I had. about what to do in that situation. He wasn't thinking forward. He wasn't thinking about how to score or what's the best. Should I play for the field goal? I have enough time. Should I do my 2-minute offense and try to get in the end zone? He wasn't thinking like that. All he was thinking was, I can't give them the ball back with this much time because it's burned me in the past. Numerous times this season already, we went into the half on the heels of a spontaneous and unexpected score. The 2 examples I gave you out front, just as recently as last week, he is what we call traumatized. That is a trauma response. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the pros and cons and benefits are of that. I just know I can't do this. I just know we just can't. No, fake punt it. I don't care. Okay, we got the fake punt. Great. That gives me 4 plays. We'll take the clock down as much as we can. But coach, we got the 50 seconds. Coach, what's going on? Everybody calm down. As long as they don't get the ball, how much time's still left on the clock? Okay, good. Run a play, and then let's see. He's not trying to do anything forward. He's stuck. And if that's happening now, that is a bad, bad sign, guys. It's bad. I'm just telling you. It's a trauma response. And you wouldn't think that being the head coach of the New York Jets for a few weeks, a month and a half, could do that to you, but it did. And it does. That's what happened. He said it in his press conference. And I'm not, it aggravates me when people look they slow it down in slow motion. Go, look at his finger. His finger being over here says blah, blah. He was running and his fucking foot was facing this. I hate all that stuff, right? I do. I hate it. I'm an old school guy. I'm a caveman. I like guys like Scattaboo because he's a football player. And the reason that he's such a big rage right now is because everybody, even though you don't know it, he plays the game of football the way the game of football is supposed to be played. And we love it because that's why we're actually here. We forgot in all these fucking NFL rules about taunting and hurting and late hits and blocking somebody when they're not looking and all this stuff. We got lost in the sauce. Somebody like Scattaboo comes out, runs 3 dudes over and goes, woo! And we love it. I'm telling you, I don't like to look that deep as everybody else with their microscopes. This is a problem. It's a big problem. And it's like when a quarterback gets happy feet. Like when a quarterback, like Sam Darnold, ghosts, remember? And guys like myself said, dude, that kid needs to sit for a year. He needs to pull back. We said the same thing with Zach Wilson when Aaron Rodgers came here, and 4 plays in, he ends up 5 plays, he ends up being the starting quarterback again. He wasn't ready for it. And I knew it was doomed to failure from the second it happened, like so many of you did. But Sam Darnold needed a year to sit. He didn't get it in Carolina. He started for 2 years. Incredible failures. He went to the Niners, sat for a year, played a little bit of, kind of second string football. He came in a couple plays here, there, whatever. But by and large, he sat for that year in Shanahan's offense. What happened? The next year, he goes to Vikings, 15-2. Now he's got a big contract. He's throwing fucking bombs to Jackson Smith and Jigba in Seattle. You know what I mean? That's what happens. When a quarterback gets happy feet, they basically say, dude, if he doesn't get a chance to sit, it's going to get worse. It doesn't get better by playing. Once you get there, oh my God, like phantom pressure. It's called. When you're feeling phantom pressure, you're doomed. Aaron Glenn felt phantom pressure today from a head coaching position. He felt it. He was a prisoner to it, and he couldn't get out of it. And we saw it on the field. We looked lost, and he didn't even care. He couldn't care. I'm not saying he's like an Adam Gase. He didn't care. He's on the bench while the game's being played, writing in a fucking notebook. It's very different. I'm not saying that. It's not that he didn't care because he didn't want to care because he didn't give a shit. He cared very much about one thing and one thing only. And that's we can't give them the ball with any time on the clock. They're going to score. That's all I care about. And we looked like complete buffoons as a result. It's bad. We got to pay attention to this. We got to keep our eyes on this. I don't know where it's going to go from here. I really don't. Who do we got next week? Carolina? Shit, they beat Dallas today, didn't they? Jesus Christmas. I don't know, everybody. We'll see. But that's the intelligent gripe. And hey, don't forget about the link for Sleeper. It's right in the description for you, baby. I made it simple. Green Bean is the code. $100 match on your first deposit is the offer. With that all said, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, go Jets.